You know, I never thought I'd be crouched in my old pickup, hands shaking, coffee barely warm, heart pounding so hard it nearly rattled the windows, just watching total strangers stroll through my grandpa's old cabin like they owned the place. Three families, bright-eyed kids, all laughing, poking around the sagging porch, chatting with this slick realtor who's spinning them tales about a motivated seller and prime Oak Valley investment. And all I could think was, are you kidding me? That seller was supposed to be me, except I hadn't signed a damn thing, hadn't said a single word about selling. And here they were, acting like my whole life was up for grabs. It was like someone sucker punched me. I mean, this wasn't a paperwork mix-up, this was cold, calculated, and I could feel my blood starting to boil hotter than the radiator in July, because right then, my quiet morning turned into the wildest fight of my life, and I didn't even know who was swinging at me yet. Let me back up a sec. My name's Jack, and I'm nothing special, just a regular guy pushing 40. Spent the last few years hiding out in the same hand-built cabin my grandpa hammered together back in '87. A place so full of sawdust and memories it creaks every time you breathe. It's got charm. The roof sags, the porch groans, but to me, that's the music of home. Ever since Grandpa passed 4 years ago, that cabin's been my hideout. I fix up old furniture, stream it to a couple thousand followers who get a kick out of watching me bring battered tables back to life. That's my peace, right? Or it was, until I'm scrolling real estate listings one lazy Sunday, and bam, there it is, my cabin, plastered online, for $350,000, under something called the Oak Valley HOA Revitalization Initiative, with drone shots from the road and fake paperwork saying I'd agreed to relocate for the good of the community. My jaw hit the floor. I mean, have you ever felt your whole world flip in one click? So I called a realtor, Mike, and he's all smooth talker. Oh, Mr. Thompson, we've got your HOA sign-off on file. President Susan Grant herself approved it. It's all above board. Above board, right? I'd never even met Susan. Never signed a single thing. But apparently, the tours were booked. People were driving hours to see a cabin that wasn't for sale. That's when I realized this wasn't just a dumb mistake. This was a setup. And I'm not the kind of guy to just roll over. So what did I do? I fired up my live stream and decided if they wanted a show, I'd give them one. Next morning, I'm parked just off the dirt road, toolbox on the seat, camera rolling, waiting for the circus to start. First family's leaving, talking paint colors like they already own the place. Second family's wandering the yard, kids peeking in windows while Mike's out front, still spinning his stories about bargain pricing and uplifting the neighborhood. And then another car rolls up, a rental, same as the others. That's when something clicked. Why are all these out-of-towners showing up in rentals? Who's funding this parade? No time to think, though, because Mike's wrapping up his pitch, and I've had enough. I hop out, chain the gate shut, slap a sign up, trespassers locked out, owner never approved sale. You should have seen Mike's face go pale. He stutters, Mr. Thompson, this is official HOA business. You're obstructing a scheduled tour. And I just grinned, waved at the camera, and said, hey, folks, Jack here, and this guy thinks he can hawk my grandpa's legacy without even asking me first. Ain't that a hoot? The husband from the second family steps up, frustrated. We drove 4 hours. The ad said it's all legal. And I felt for him. I really did. So I told him straight. Buddy, I hate to waste your time, but someone's lying to you. I'm not selling. Never was. Tires squealed. And that's when Susan Grant herself shows up in her fancy SUV, heels clicking, clipboard waving, eyes full of fire. Jack, you're obstructing community progress. These folks have rights. I just held my sign higher. Susan, you show me my signature right now. Prove it. She starts spouting standards and values, circling me like a shark, but she can't produce a thing. Families leave, angry and confused, and then Mike's fumbling through his bag, hands me a stack of papers with a signature that's supposed to be mine, but it's as fake as a $3 bill. His face goes slack, realizing he's been played too. Meanwhile, my stream's blowing up, thousands of people watching, rooting for me, tips rolling in. But those rental cars, the whole setup, it gnawed at me. There was something bigger behind all this, and Susan's icy glare as she peeled out said she wasn't done. The next day, the drama ramped up. Susan calls an emergency HOA meeting, throws up a billboard at the entrance to the valley screaming, resident halting community growth. with a big red arrow pointing straight at my gate. She's trying to make me look like the villain, just for holding onto my family's land. That stung, I won't lie. Susan always had a power complex, handing out fines, making up rules, probably hated that my cabin sat just outside her jurisdiction, never joined the HOA nonsense. But I wasn't backing down. Instead, I fought back the only way I knew how, public and loud. I put up truth boards around the property, markers shouting, "Cabin still owned. No sale. Susan's proof. 0." My viewers suggested upgrades, so I hung a disco ball over her spy cams, so her footage was just a mess of sparkles and nonsense. People online loved it, sent more tips. But then things got creepy. This black SUV starts circling slow at night. No plates, windows so dark you couldn't see a thing. And one night, my trail cam catches a shadowy figure burying some gadget near the fence. Turns out it's a survey beacon. High-tech stuff, not for some backyard project. I got this bad feeling in my gut. Why are they mapping my land? A few days later, Mike, the realtor, shows up again, this time sheepish. He admits Susan promised him a huge bonus for a quick sale, fake programs and all, and says other agents got similar offers for remote properties. Digging deeper, I traced that beacon to some corporate geosurvey firm and county records from way back in '86. Turns out, the year before Grandpa bought the land, a mining company had filed claims on rare earth minerals underneath it, worth millions, then vanished right after he closed. It was starting to make sense. Susan wasn't just a petty queen bee. She was working for someone bigger. And then there's this mystery suit on my trail cams, handing off a briefcase to Susan by the mailbox. That's when it hit me. This whole revitalization thing, it was just a front for a corporate land grab, and my family's cabin was right in the crosshairs. It all peaked one afternoon when I got a fake condemnation notice on my door, said the cabin was unsafe, vacate in 30 days. The county clerk laughed when I called, said there's no record. But Susan doubled down, sending her cousin Eddie, a bumbling wannabe lawyer, to threaten me with legal gibberish about mandatory harmony compliance. I almost laughed in his face. Then Officer Riley rolls up, good old local cop, knows the HOA game inside out, and starts grilling Eddie, who practically sweats through his suit. Riley takes one look at the documents, spots 3 obvious forgeries, turns to Susan, who's lurking behind a bush, and says, "Ma'am, do you have authority to sell his home? Yes or no?" You could hear a pin drop. Susan's face cracked. Riley shredded her notary stamps, called out all the Sunday amendments as impossible, and the HOA board, minus Susan, voted her out right there, 7-1. Linda, the new president, showed up with real papers, apologized, and confirmed the HOA never had jurisdiction over me. Eddie bolted, tires squealing. Susan's SUV broke down right as the tow truck rolled up. Karma, right? And Riley? He cited her for fraud, told her one more peep, and it'd be handcuffs. But even as the dust settled, I got this anonymous text. Dig your grandpa's 87 taxes. Secrets deeper than dirt. So I hit the archives. Sure enough, I found old bank statements and mineral surveys Grandpa had hidden, along with maps marked Operation Peak Treasure. He'd known about the minerals, bought the land cheap to keep it quiet, left me clues to fight. And get this, he even had photos of Susan as a kid, stuffing cash envelopes for Summit Mining's execs. I mean, you can't make this up. The story went viral. Everyone online watched as a little guy fought back and won. Summit Mining's CEO called, offered me $2 million in hush money, straight up admitted the minerals were worth 10 times that. I hung up on him, said, not for sale. Ever. Grandpa's legacy means more than your greed. A week later, Summit tanked. Feds raided their offices. Susan got caught fleeing the state with bribe money. Served 3 years, while the CEO faced congressional hearings. Meanwhile, I kept the land, partnered with a green foundation to fund scholarships for veterans, and turned the cabin into a community hub. Folks come from miles around now, watching my streams, learning how to stand up for themselves. I'll tell you, it changed me. All of it. I went from a quiet woodworker to an advocate, all because my grandpa had the guts to outsmart the bullies. But last week, digging through his old notebooks, I found maps of dozens of other spots flagged prime. Families just like mine, sitting on fortunes, probably in the crosshairs of the next HOA or corporate scam. And just last night, I saw a drone buzzing over my field. The fight isn't over. Not for me. Not for anyone with roots in the dirt. So what about you? Ever been through HOA hell or had a run-in with corporate creeps? Drop a comment. Let me know where you stand. Is justice worth more than money? Or would you take the cash and run? Share your story. Hit like if this fired you up, because sometimes the real fight for home is just getting started.